The power of purpose is the invisible force that shapes our lives. It's the reason some people rise above challenges while others get crushed by them. Purpose is what makes the difference between simply existing and truly living. Without it, life becomes a series of random events. Days blur into weeks, weeks into months, and before we know it, we've spent years running without knowing where we were going. When you live with purpose, your steps have direction. You're not just moving, you're moving somewhere. Purpose gives meaning to your work, passion to your effort, and clarity to your decisions. It makes the struggles worth it and the victories sweeter. Let's explore 10 pillars that reveal the true power of purpose and how to live by it every single day. Purpose is the starting point of all achievement. Every great accomplishment starts with a reason, a deep driving, a why that fuels the journey. Without purpose, effort feels heavy, and obstacles seem like roadblocks. With purpose, those same obstacles become stepping stones. Purpose is the compass that keeps you heading in the right direction, even when storms hit. It's not enough to have goals. You must know why those goals matter to you. The stronger your why, the more powerful your drive. Think about it. People without a sense of purpose often chase whatever is shiny in the moment, only to burn out or get bored. But those with purpose stay committed. They see beyond today's struggle to tomorrow's reward. This is why you must take time to define your purpose, not in vague terms, but in words that make your heart beat faster. When you understand your purpose, you move with conviction. You don't waste energy on distractions because you know where you're headed. Purpose eliminates confusion. It tells you what to say yes to and, more importantly, what to say a no to. Achievement is not just about talent or opportunity. It's about direction, and that direction comes from your purpose. Purpose is where success begins. It's the foundation that supports every plan, every decision, and every risk you take. Without it, you may still move, but you'll never truly arrive. Purpose turns work into a mission. Work without purpose feels like a chore. Work with purpose feels like a calling. Purpose changes how you approach each task, no matter how small. It transforms effort from a burden into a contribution. When you see your work as part of a bigger mission, you find energy you didn't know you had. Purpose makes you resilient in the face of setbacks. If you're only working for a paycheck, one bad day can break your spirit. But if you're working for a purpose, no temporary setback can derail you. You understand that challenges are part of the mission. They test your commitment and sharpen your skills. Yeah, the grind becomes meaningful when tied to a mission. You don't just to go to work. You show up for your purpose. Even repetitive or difficult tasks take on new meaning because they're connected to something greater. Purpose lifts your eyes beyond the moment, reminding you that today's effort contributes to tomorrow's vision. Think about people who love what they do. They're not motivated solely by the work itself, but by the purpose behind it. They see themselves as contributors to a cause, builders of a dream or problem, solvers for others. That's why they keep going long after others have given up. When you align your work with your mission, you stop counting the hours and start making the hours count. Purpose isn't just about having a job. It's about having a reason to show up with excellence every single day. Purpose creates unshakable motivation. Motivation fades when it's based on feelings or fleeting excitement. But when it's rooted in purpose, it becomes unshakable. Purpose is the deep well you can draw from when energy runs low, when obstacles pile up, or when progress feels slow. Temporary motivation is like a spark. It burns bright for a moment and then fizzles out. Purpose is like a fire that keeps burning, even when the winds of adversity blow hard against it. The truth is, motivation that lasts comes from knowing your actions matter. It's hard to quit when you know your purpose demands your effort. People often ask, how do I stay motivated? The answer is, Connect everything you do to your purpose. The more you remind yourself of why you're doing something, the less you'll need external pushes. You'll carry your own fuel. Purpose-driven motivation also makes sacrifices easier. Waking up early, working late, saying no to distractions, all of these become bearable when you know what you're working toward. It's no longer about forcing yourself to work. It's about honoring the vision you believe in. With purpose, motivation is not a mood. It's a mandate. It's the natural result of having something so important to you that quitting is no longer an option. Purpose takes your motivation from fragile to unstoppable. Purpose brings clarity to decision-making. Life bombards us with choices every day, and without clarity, we can feel overwhelmed or indecisive. Purpose is like a filter. It helps you quickly identify what aligns with your values and goals and what doesn't. When you know your purpose, decisions become simpler, not because they're easy, but because they're clear. You stop wasting time on what doesn't serve you. You say a no without guilt because you understand that every yes to something meaningless is a no to your purpose. Without purpose, you may find yourself pulled in 100 directions, chasing opportunities that don't actually move you forward. But with purpose, you have a guiding star. You can weigh decisions against your mission. Does this help me fulfill my purpose? Does it align with my vision? If the answer is no, you move on without hesitation. Purpose also removes the fear of missing out. You're not tempted by every passing trend because you're building something lasting. You're no longer making decisions based on the pressure of others. You're making them based on the pull of your own mission. Clarity saves time, energy, and heartache. And that clarity flows directly from knowing your purpose. Purpose builds resilience in hard times. Life will test you, will show. It's not a matter of if, but when. Well, purpose is what gives you the strength to keep going when the pressure is high and the road is rough. It's the anchor that keeps you steady in the storm. When you're clear on your purpose, you see trials differently. They're not just setbacks, they're training grounds. You understand that adversity is shaping you for the bigger mission ahead. Without purpose, hardship feels pointless, and it's easy to give up. But with purpose, even pain has meaning. You know there's a reason to endure. This perspective turns obstacles into opportunities for growth. Resilience is not about never falling. It's about always getting back up. And what gives you the reason to get back up is your purpose. It reminds you that the fight is worth it, that your story isn't over yet, and that every step, no matter how small, is moving you toward your vision. People who endure tough seasons without breaking have one thing in common. They're driven by something bigger than themselves. Purpose makes you unstoppable, not because you never face hardship, but because you refuse to let hardship define you. Purpose elevates your standards. When you live with purpose, you naturally raise your standards. You stop settling for a good enough because you understand that your purpose deserves excellence. And this shift happens not because someone else is demanding more from you, but because you demand more from yourself. Purpose changes the way you approach everything, from your work ethic to your relationships to the way you treat your own health. You begin to see that every part of your life is connected, and if one area is neglected, it affects your ability to fulfill your mission. Without purpose, it's easy to tolerate mediocrity. You'll accept habits, environments, and mindsets that keep you stuck. But with purpose, you become unwilling to compromise on what matters. You understand that your time is precious, your energy is valuable, and your mission is worth protecting. Raising your standards doesn't mean becoming rigid or impossible to please. It means refusing to operate below the level that your purpose requires. It's about aligning your daily actions with the vision you hold for your life. This elevation of standards will often make you stand out, and sometimes it will make you feel alone. But that's the nature of living with purpose. You're not here to blend in. You're here to build something remarkable. Purpose attracts the right people and opportunities. Purpose acts like a magnet. When you're clear about your mission, you naturally begin to attract people, opportunities, and resources that align with it. This isn't magic, it's focus. When your purpose is visible in your actions, words, and decisions, it sends a signal to the world. This is where I'm going. People are drawn to clarity. They want to work with, support, and invest in individuals who know what they stand for. When you live with purpose, you make it easy for others to identify whether they can help you or join you. Opportunities also become easier to evaluate. When you're aimless, every door looks tempting, but many lead nowhere. With purpose, you can quickly see which doors lead closer to your mission and which are just distractions. Living with purpose doesn't mean everything will fall into your lap, but it does mean you'll spend less time chasing what doesn't belong to you. You'll find yourself building deeper, more authentic connections with people who share your values, challenge your thinking, and inspire you to grow. In short, your purpose not only guides your steps, it shapes your circle, and the right circle will multiply your progress in ways you could never achieve alone. Purpose creates fulfillment beyond success. Success without purpose is empty. You can reach your goals, earn the money, and gain the recognition, and still feel unsatisfied if your achievements aren't connected to something meaningful. Purpose is what turns success into fulfillment. When your victories are tied to your purpose, they're deeply rewarding because they're not just about you, they're about impact. They represent growth, contribution, and alignment with your values. You feel proud, not just for what you accomplished, but for why you accomplished it. Purpose also gives you a sense of contentment along the way. You're not constantly chasing the next milestone to feel valuable. You already feel valuable because you're living in alignment with your mission. And this doesn't mean you stop striving. It means you enjoy the process because the process itself is purposeful. Without purpose, success can become a trap. You achieve one goal and immediately need another to fill the emptiness. With purpose, each step forward feels like a building block in something much bigger than yourself. Fulfillment isn't found at the end of the journey. It's woven into the journey when you live with purpose. Purpose leaves a lasting legacy. Purpose outlives you. When you live with purpose, you're not just shaping your own life. You're shaping the lives of those who come after you. You're creating ripples that will continue long after you're gone. A life without purpose may leave behind possessions, but a life with purpose leaves behind impact. Your words, actions, and example become part of the stories others tell. Your influence extends into future generations, sometimes in ways you may never see. Living with purpose means asking yourself, what will remain when I'm no longer here? It shifts your focus from short-term gain to long-term significance. You start making choices with the awareness that you're building something that will outlast your time on Earth. Legacy isn't about fame, it's about influence. It's about knowing that your life stood for something, that you contributed to the world in a way that mattered. And that's what purpose makes possible. When you live with purpose, you're not just living for today, you're planting seeds for tomorrow. Purpose is not a luxury, it's a necessity. It's the thread that ties your actions, your growth, and your impact together. Without it, life is scattered and reactive. To be. With it, life becomes intentional, focused, and deeply meaningful. Purpose gives you the courage to start, the strength to endure, the clarity to choose, and the wisdom to build something that matters. It makes the journey worth taking and the challenges worth facing. So don't just live by the clock, live by your compass. Let purpose guide your steps, shape your days, and define your legacy. Because when you live with purpose, you don't just make a living, you make a life.